Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to tonight's exciting matchup in the round of 8 between Starman and Pankraz. This is game 2 of their best of 3. As you can see on the right side, Pankraz has a little dwarf lit up next to his, so he is up 1 game. So be seeing if Pankraz can clinch this best of 3 and limit it to just 2 games, or Starman will extend this to a 3rd game. My name is Xenocat. And I am joined here in the booth by Stoppable Force. How are you doing tonight, Stoppable?
I'm doing great. The first match between these two was very exciting, and I'm looking forward to more of the same. I'm personally pulling for a game 3 here.
I mean, my bracket says no game 3, but my heart says game 3. So, I think I'll be happy either way.
Fair enough. Yeah, we've got everybody in these top 8s is extremely skilled, and so we're going to see some extremely good play today as our runners. There are 2 bonus objectives here to get Palom and get Rosa. So got to find the preeminent black mage and the very best white mage for our team.
Yep. I love the chat pointing out that we now have double the chance of required giant, as there are, that is one of the rudest character spots, and now that we have 2 character objectives, if either Palom or Rosa rolls up there and there's no duplicate of that character, we might very well see runners heading up to the Giant of Babu.
I'm always pulling for a hard required giant. Since we don't have a boss hunt in the mix, it's not quite as likely to be hard required, but I guess D-Mist could still be up there. D-Mist is always kind of the secret 6th objective here, since it can be gating a key item on these flags.
Yep, D-Mist not necessarily required, but it's a boss that could be at any boss location in the game that will hold a key item. So that key item could very well be required, and that D-Mist with that required key item could very well be up in the giant. But what do you make of this Kayn start?
This could go either way. Kayn is kind of, I mean, he's very reliable damage if you can find a good weapon to put into his hands. Or occasionally he'll start with a dancing dagger, which can work just as well, even if he's just using it as an item. Some of it will depend on who he gets paired with, of course, but I'm never upset to see Kayn at the start of my seeds.
Yeah, Kayn is not terrible for sure. He can use a large variety of weapons, and he can be pretty okay with them. But he's joined by Sid, another character who needs weapons. There's a free pass, and oh my goodness, that's like no money.
I believe I saw a wooden hammer and an ancient sword in there, so even not huge upgrades over what they're starting with either.
I mean,
might even be a joke.
A wooden hammer will do in a pinch if they have some really bad starting gear, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, chat pointing out a bandana is nice. Gets a little strength boost off the bat, and Mute Bell can come in handy later for enemies that like to cast spells or even grinding later in the game on enemies that can mute and then makes them trivial.
Yeah, so we didn't get a completely useless starting gear, and that's a spear and a hand axe. Oh boy. So I think we low rolled those starting weapons.
Yeah, Bari, what are you doing to these people?
And Starman gets 0 GP and a whistle, which is essentially 0 GP. Oh, but Pankraz heading to the water to Eblin Castle has already found an Ogre Axe and an Elven Bow in here.
Eblin Castle, really nice with this multitude of trap chests in here, and the things that aren't trapped are even nicer. And yeah, that's really going to make this start go a little smoother. Meanwhile, Starman finding a variety of mage gear in the watery pass. I saw a power staff and a wizard shirt.
Yeah, that'll be nice if Starman finds someone who can use those things. But Pankraz looks like is done, just grabbing that Elven Bow and that Ogre Axe, and says, "You know what? That's good enough for me."
So that's all you really need to get started on these. There's definitely some objectives they could tackle now with these 2 with something just a little better than what they started with.
Yeah, an Ogre Axe on a Sid is definitely a force to be reckoned with on this overworld. And, oh, hey, there's Palom.
Well, there we go.
So that's objective 4 already done. There's also a Baigan here.
Can be an unexpectedly nasty boss in this part, but I think we'll be okay here. Although Palom's not going to be of much use yet.
Yep, Palom is going to try his best. Looks like Pankraz has decided to swap to the wooden hammer on Sid because Kain can make use of that Ogre Axe as well. Just do a little bit of extra damage. Important thing that Starman found in Damcian is Starman found a curse ring, which will enable him to take control of his agility anchoring a little bit better.
Oh, that's a fantastic find on these seeds, where you may never be able to find one in stores. Having one of those in your back pocket for your late game anchoring needs can be pretty crucial.
Indeed. But Viking putting up a bit of a scary fight, but Pankraz gets through with all 3 party members alive. This is very important for the experience here, especially for Kain and Palom so early on.
Yeah, Palom has his level 2 spells. He's not up to Virus and his signature Quake yet, but he's definitely online now.
Yeah, he can cast some spells that'll do enough damage to get through the overworld, and ooh, that's a cheeky Dwarf Axe find for Starman as well, an Antlion Cave. That'll enable Kain to be back rogue glitched and could help make sure Sid stays slow enough to anchor. I don't think Starman is going to be worried about knocking anyone down at this point.
No, with a Dwarf Axe and a Cursed Ring in hand, you can actually even let Sid continue to gain levels and contribute to the team, throw some potions, if nothing else.
Yeah, and Pankraz, it looks like, is going to be skipping that left side of Antlion, which is where that Dwarf Axe came from. It makes sense, it's a little out of the way, and you don't expect there to be something that good there.
Yeah, just looting a couple of the chests in here before safety saving. Nothing as nice as the Dwarf Axe and the Lunar Sparkle, and it's the D-Lunars. This is a pretty nice place to find these guys if you have to.
Yeah, they're not the rudest here, although we don't have any J items to deal with them efficiently.
Ooh,
because
I did not notice that.
Yeah, we have vampires, which will kill you and give your HP to the D-Lunars. So maybe don't use those.
Yeah, they're not here for charity. We're not keeping these D-Lunars alive.
But it looks like Starman is getting through with the wooden hammer and the Dwarf Axe. Or just jumping with Ancient Sword Kain and using the Dwarf Axe on Sid is enough.
I was gonna say, I believe I saw the axe toss there, so he may just be using the Dwarven Axe outright.
Yeah, it does damage. It's better than a wooden hammer.
This is the nicest thing we can say about some of these weapons.
Yeah.
That's the pink tail. There's another objective. Not that they can trade it in yet, but it's definitely there for whenever Starman and Pankraz find the hook.
That's half of something. Almost value.
The second D-Lunar is putting up a fight here for Pankraz. Well, I speak too soon.
Yeah, the D-Lunars don't have a lot of HP, so they kind of just go splat. Meanwhile, we find out that Bahamut is hanging out in the waterfall. I guess the Lord of Dragons decided to take a nice shower.
And he's having a spa day away from the moon.
Yeah, I guess that would do it too. But I guess we're not going to bother him on his spa day. He can have his spa day.
He's not an objective. He doesn't get any key items. We're not going to bother him today.
We're going to be nice and let him have his spa day. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, a day off. Let's let him have the day off.
Starman now coming face to face with that Baigan, while Pankraz goes up to check out Fabul and probably defend it. Dancing daggers and poison axes there in the shop. That's pretty nice. If that Palom wasn't already online, I could see picking up one of those.
Yeah, even for the Kain, dancing a dagger is quite a nice thing to have early on.
Oh, he
Yeah.
did pick up on Pankraz just shopped so quickly I didn't realize it.
Yep. Not picking up the poison axe because we don't really need the poison axe damage, but the dancing dagger will be some nice damage for Kane here because he doesn't have enough levels to be good with swinging the ogre axe yet. So Sid can have the ogre axe while Kane has the dancing dagger, and Palom can cast spells at the elements. It should just be this one fire too.
Yeah, this will roast Mylon Z. Yeah, you're not even going to get to see the others.
No, there was no quarter leg. It's just, oh hey, it's discount Mylon Z.
He may have learned how to curse from somewhere, but he's not going to get to show it off here. And
Nope.
as a reward, Pankraz gets the Sand Ruby, so that's potentially another character. Potentially, if we've got Vanilla Rosa, this could be Objective 5 right off the bat. I don't think anyone's peaked Kaipo yet, is that correct?
We have not.
Surely Niabari wouldn't just put a 5th objective right there.
Surely. We're supposed to have Acquired Giant, right? We can't have all of our character objectives just show up.
I would wager we'll find out before Pankraz moves on to anything else. Yep, heading straight for the desert to go find out who's taking a nap in Kaipo today.
Yeah, I mean this could be someone great like Fu or Edge, or it could be or even Cecil, or it could be someone like Tella, or well, Tella's okay, but Bedward. We like Bedward.
It's a Fu.
Okay. Time to just destroy the entire overworld.
Yeah, Fusoya is going to take it's going to take a few more bosses to power up, but it won't be long before we're putting this entire seed in the microwave and pressing nuke.
Yep. Even with a level 3 elemental spell, an early Fu can do some serious work on the overworld.
Starman, meanwhile, hot on Pankraz's heels, igniting that. Picked up his Paladin from Hobbs. He's ignited the elements, and he'll be getting his Sand Ruby and his own Fusoya very soon.
Yep, and it looks like Pankraz is not interested in interrupting Bahamut's spa day yet. Is going to be heading straight up Mount Ordeals. For the 3 bosses up here, plus the key item check, this makes a lot of sense. There's also some decent experience, so could get Palom much closer to Virus.
Yeah, I'd say that might actually be because that's 3 more steps. That's 9 new spells and 300 more max HP for Fusoya. So it's definitely worth coming up here and finding out who's in the way. Hopefully, nothing too nasty. Because that Fusoya needs some powering up. Whew.
I mean, he has Berserk. Berserk is good.
Yeah, he's got a Berserk, but as far as he's got a lot of utility right now. He's kind of living that Tella life. But
yeah, he has Stone. He can stone things and toad things and Berserk party members, but he can't really do much else. Also, we have a Mom Bomb.
Ooh, it's I think at this spot it's really just more tedious than anything because of the extra HP that she has tacked on, so that we have to have a good chance of seeing her exploding script.
Yep, and Fu has basically no damaging spells at all.
I think I saw a lit one. That's about the extent of it. He's Berserked Sid. That's the real damage contribution here.
Yeah, Fu contributed by Berserking Sid. That's all he needs to do.
To his credit, Fu is swinging for an average of about 600 to swing. So
yeah, Sid's doing great work. It's just Do
see that exploding script, but it won't be long now till they're through this one and seeing what's in the back attack spot. Maybe something nasty like I don't know if I would wish a Golbez on somebody.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else would be really rude. We have Kane to deal with Valvalis, who could be extremely rude at this back attack spot. Magus Sisters would be fun.
Yeah. Plague is kind of nasty, but it's more of a logistical thing than anything, since you're dropping down to 5 or 6 on the count before you can even react. But no, instead we find the freest fight.
Yep. I mean, this is not the ideal place for him, but it's okay, I guess. We'll take a free back attack of Mount Ordeals, considering this is one of the more difficult spots on the overworld.
Yeah, this isn't where you want them as a runner. You want them to take something nastier out of the pool, like a moon boss. But for us, it just means that there's much worse things later on.
Yep, and we didn't have time to listen to their speech, so Fu just decided, you know what, we're gonna silence you with a lit 3. Because he learned that from the Mom Bomb. I don't know how Mom Bomb taught him lit 3, but I guess she did.
Yeah, and he just learned to warp from King Evelyn, I guess, by watching Queen Evelyn leave the fight.
Yeah, and slow, because of how slow she took to leave the fight. She's so slow. It makes sense, I swear.
Everything is very logical here in our randomized video game.
Definitely. There's definitely some sort of lore explanation for every spell that Fu learns from every boss. But we have a Baron key up on top of Ordeals, which means that, hey, not doing Baron in up to this point, pretty good routing-wise. And there's that Plague.
He won't be any big deal here. Fusoya is about to blow him up with lit 3, I believe.
Yeah, Plague decided to move into the changing room, unfortunately not realizing that this spot is super weak, and he doesn't get to do anything exciting.
Hey, speaking of that logic, I think I just saw Fusoya learn Fatal. What better place to learn it from?
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Fusoya learned how to be like, hey, I saw you put a 10 count timer on us that'll kill us. I learned how to do that instantly. I can do it better than you.
What if I just don't count?
Yeah. What if I count, but I skip the count?
And see, now you can see, even without his full power, how quickly Fusoya helps these teams tear through these early overworld objectives and even some of the underworld ones.
Yeah, this Fu is just gonna tear through everything. Lit 3 is, it's 3,000 to 4,000 damage. That's like as much HP as a lot of the early game bosses have. So as long as they aren't like resistant, or as long as they don't absorb the spell, it's a pretty safe bet to just do it. And I think the only thing that would absorb lightning would be Pale Dim. And I guess some of the bosses that put walls up would be a little rude.
Yeah, especially with 2 mages and I guess Sid can still swing his axe, and Kane's probably getting more powerful now. But now we're off to Baron Inn. Ooh.
Hi, Ogo. Ogo says, hey, I'm just going to take off half of your max HP before you get to the second fight. Is that okay?
I'd rather not, especially since the reward for these fights isn't Edward. Hopefully the key item is a little more useful. Edward on these flags, not as useful as he was during the Swiss, since we have turned off the spoon flag, meaning that when they find Edward's favorite piece of silverware, he is no longer able to wield it as an ultimate weapon.
And we have Golbez at the second spot of Baron Inn, and it's time to knock some people down.
Dragon's gonna go hungry today.
Yep, no food for the dragon. Kane and Sid are already napping. And Palom and Fu won't even get held because they have... they've got Fu cast a Venom early. I can speak, I swear. And Venom takes priority over Hold, so the Hold status can't be applied, giving FF4FE lots of time to sort out the inventory.
FF4FE is over here shuffling his inventory around while Golbez effectively talks to himself, and here comes the lit 3.
Yeah, not quite enough to kill, but Fire 2 should finish the job. And goodbye, Golbez.
All right, let's see if xPankraz gets rewarded for this in some way other than Edward. The Darkness Crystal. So now the moon
That
is open.
that is a reward, I guess. I mean, you're gonna want that at some point. I'm not sure if our runners want that at this point.
It's a little early, but I could even see checking it just to find someone to replace that Edward right off the bat.
Yeah, we might. I mean, it could be Rosa just chilling up there.
I didn't see if they had a siren, but there was a second mute bell there in Baron, and that could be an early Warlock grind to get a little more XP.
I believe they are guaranteed at least one siren in the starter kit. I'm not sure. I think it's 1 to 2. I think I'm not sure whether they have 1 or 2 sirens, but you know, they could do a cheeky Warlock grind. I'm not sure it's necessary with the Fu in hand.
Probably not. Fu's Warlock grind is killing bosses. That's all he needs.
Yeah. Fu just kills bosses and everyone else kind of gets experience along the way. But Starman is following hot on Pankraz's heels, heading into Baron Inn to take on this Ogo into Golbez, which is very rude. Very rude Baron Inn.
Yeah, Golbez is bad enough when you know he's coming. The surprise Golbez is extremely unpleasant, but again, this is great to see if you're a runner, because now you know Ogo Pogo and Golbez aren't gonna ambush you up on the moon somewhere.
This is true, but we have found it's not Mylon Z. Mylon and his friends are having a party in the main, just in the entrance hall of Baron Castle. Mylon is having a party with his friends, and we just waltz in and interrupt them.
It's extremely rude.
So rude.
And then we hit them with lightning bolts. I mean, really, adventurers are so rude.
Yeah, why do we have to interrupt this? Mylon's just trying to have fun. He says, "Go, my children." All his children are already gone. They can't go if they're gone. It doesn't work, Mylon. I'm sorry.
Over on Starman's side, looks like he's going to have to actually sit through some of that starting script. His characters all got held by Golbez, although the same two went down. But he's not going to be able to launch those spells right off the bat. So this could be a dicier fight for Starman.
Yep. Palom, I will want to point out on Pankraz's side, his Palom just learned Virus, which means that we're going to be even better at overthrowing the Baron Kingdom. Which is controlled by... Oh, that's spicy. That could either be...
That's the All Gauntlet.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yep, I saw that pause before the fight started. So now we have...
Baron is controlled by about 13 to 14 monsters in a trench coat. But see, we know that this is underground access, unless there's a cheeky D-Mist somewhere. Because this is all the runners have left to check.
Yeah, outside of D-Mist hiding in Mist Cave or in the Tower of Zot in the first position, this has got to be it.
Yeah. But wait, we're overthrowing a whole bunch of monsters that are ruling over Baron as a council. It feels like we're kind of destroying the townspeople of Baron seem just fine. Are we creating a power vacuum here and ruining a perfectly good council?
Are we the baddies?
I think we might be the baddies. We're not going to install a new government. We're just destroying the current government and then leaving.
Yeah. We're just staging a coup and leaving. That's it.
Yeah, no, we don't fill the power vacuum at all. This is really bad.
Well, now Starman's also on his way to go overthrow a government, so I guess we're going to do it on both sides.
Yeah, Baron doesn't need a government.
Yeah, the citizens of Baron seem to be getting by on their own, other than the strange hours that their shops are keeping.
Yeah, that is a little bit weird.
The All Gauntlet at this spot isn't necessarily difficult, especially with food, but some of the enemies do cheat a little, like the crocodiles, who don't just take one action with their ATB turn, they'll take two.
Yeah, because they want to. They just want to take 2 turns. It's don't question it.
Now, Fusoya's got Blink, which can be and an Edge, so this team just gets better and better.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna leave Sid behind on Pankraz's side. I guess Sid has been chosen to be our newly installed puppet on the Baron throne.
Leaving behind a mid-50s engineer who has a tendency to overwork himself.
Yeah, no.
I guess there are worse options.
I mean, in all fairness, Sid is actually from Baron, so you know, there's some sort of logic to it.
And instead, we've picked up
not installing some foreign we're not installing the King of Damsian on the throne.
He can barely rule his own kingdom. Look at it; it's a ruin now. And there's there's the hook. So we have a hook seed. This is our logical underground access.
But we also have Objective 3.
Ooh, yeah, Pankraz, and soon Starman will be able to trade in that Pinktail too. That's nice.
Yep, Starman just has to get through this gauntlet. But first, let's just see who's here. Oh, hi, Blarg.
Pankraz taking the active approach and just throwing an ancient sword at Wyvern. Blarg, indeed.
Yep, probably doing that just to get a few more spells on Fu and to see if it was the Mist Dragon, which it is not, but that is a very nice place to see Wyvern, because now it's not somewhere later.
Yeah, the runners are extremely happy to see it. It means we're going to be seeing a whole swath of these early game bosses late. We're probably going to have a demist on the moon, if I were guessing.
I mean, we're almost certainly going to have an antlion on the moon at this rate.
Antlion loves the moon. It's his favorite vacation spot.
Yeah, when is Antlion not on the moon?
When Antlion is in Cave Magnus.
I was going to say vanilla, but
well, that too,
works too.
The only 2 places I've watched a lot of both these seeds and just seeds that other people play over the past couple weeks, and Antlion really likes to go to the moon or Cave Magnus.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Sometimes he doesn't go very far and he just climbs up Mount Hobbs, but it's still very rude there.
Pankraz
turning in the pink. Oh, that is not the item you want to see from the pink tail.
No, that's not useful for any of his team, and you can't even sell it for a boatload of gold because we have the sell 0 flag on these flag sets, and so anything you sell to a shop is worth 0.
Yeah, and with the preeminent black mage already in the party, what are the odds we actually want to see Rydia?
I guess technically she does make a better anchor than Edward when it comes to getting Fusoya to relative agility 1. That's the only positive thing I have.
I mean, Bahamut's great, but like, she's not going to be a long-term. It's very hard to commit to Rydia long-term.
Plus, it would just be rude to summon him from his spa day to come cast a nuke on somebody.
Come on, he's on a spa day. Do you know how rude you have to be to summon the Lord of Dragons on his spa day?
Just make him show up and breathe on somebody. That's rude.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Pankraz is headed to the moon, raising his lunar whale. I'm assuming going to peak lunar dais, maybe check the shop up there. Possibly looking Cave Bahamut, because there's always value in Cave Bahamut.
I mean, there is always value in Cave Bahamut. I mean, it's the nicest boss on the moon in the fact that you can see it before you fight it, as opposed to every other boss spot on the moon.
Yeah, the others are all just mysterious sparkles, but the new inhabitant of Cave Bahamut, whoever he's got house sitting for him while he's out, will show you in advance. Pancras finds the Hummingways selling camping gear and exits.
And kamikazes.
And
Apparently.
kamikazes.
They are the Hummingways. Just want to have a nice time camping and getting out of places quickly, but also they want you to sacrifice all of your HP so you can destroy yourself upon your enemies.
Man, Hummingways are wild.
Starman, it looks like, is going to peek the boss in the barren basement. This is a really spicy play, and that is our Zed and our Rosa.
There we go.
On the moon.
Rosa on the moon. Mile and Zed in the basement. Could have taken that fight if Fu has Blink at this point, possibly, but it would have been a little slow.
Yeah, slow and maybe a little bit difficult. Although it does look like he might be setting up for it.
Yeah, possibly was just peeking it for information, but now that he knows he can take it, is actually rearranging his party. No, just getting back in the airship and leaving.
And it looks like Pancraz decided that Rosa can stay home today. She doesn't need to join the party. I mean, Fu can be all the white mage you need.
So we are now at 28 minutes into the seed, and 3 out of the 5 objectives lit up for Pancraz. Only needs one more to have go mode. So at this point, he's hunting for any of those items that he needs for objectives 1 and 2.
Yeah, a Twin Harp would put him in go mode. Both Halves of Forge plus getting Underground would count, I guess. Does look like he's heading up to do a couple gold dragons here on the moon.
Yeah, these are doubly lucrative on these flag sets, not just for the wealth of XP they can give you, but also because these gold dragons will give you gold.
Yeah, they do give you a lot of money.
And since we rolled our racers on these flag sets do start with some money here in the brackets, but it can be random, and they definitely rolled on the low end, so getting a little extra money through grinding never hurts.
Yeah, a little extra money, a lot of extra experience. Oh, Fu does not have enough MP to cast another week. Oh no.
Ooh, this could be spicy, especially since Pancraz is doing this live. There are no hourglasses even.
Oh no, ooh. Fu is down, and there goes the one ether. That's oof.
Board AI in action.
I like to think of that gold dragon knew who was the threat and took him out.
It did just watch that old man summon a tornado to weaken its friends, so it knew. Pancraz is going to try the same trick again, though.
Yeah. Chat pointing out you could have used Psych on Edge, but the problem with that is Psych takes forever, and likely the gold dragon would have been able to knock down most of the party in that time.
Kind of like it's proceeding to do now. You get to see the rare hand axe throw, though. That's exciting.
Yeah, you can throw the hand axe. It is a dart.
Chat asking if Starman traded the Pinktail. I don't believe they did. I think Starman just left the Earth to check the character and do some valuable free checks up here, rather than turning in their tail yet.
Yep, looks like just, I think has not turned in the tail yet and is now just checking the character and then leaving. No interest in messing with these gold dragons.
None whatsoever, which, as you can see, Pancraz's second attempt also almost went sideways, but some clutch casting here and then some lives. We got everybody back up at least. It's going to leave here 60,000 XP and 40-something thousand gold richer.
Yeah, that's decent. Palom is going to have Quake now for this hook route, which could be huge.
Pancraz not even interested in checking the boss. Clearly just came in here for the gold dragons.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to know who that boss is yet. We'll fight it when we fight it later. Starman, it does look like, is now going to be turning in his pink tail.
Yep. Wonderful. I was going to say wonderful to see the same kind of thing in early grind from Starman, but I'm guessing not.
I would think the time to do that early grind would be while you're still up on the moon. I don't think it makes sense to do that early grind after you've already come back down.
Yeah. Also, without hourglasses on hand, might be opting for something safer. Maybe, maybe break some dragon eggs open once they get down to the underground.
Yep, it looks like he's just going to dive this hook route. Well, Pankraz, it looks like it's headed back to Kaipo to pick up some long swords.
I guess since he has a ninja on his team capable of wielding them now, that's very heads up.
Yeah, get that extra, get some damage onto Edge. And there's Sirens just hanging out in Eblin Cave.
Cave Evelyn always seems to have the goods in these seeds.
Yeah, Sirens and Bacchus, definitely nice to see. And some other shops that we don't have the money to buy anything from.
Yeah, it's especially good that Pankraz went and got that gold right before going in here. He can load up on whatever he wants, pretty much.
Yeah, I might save it, a little bit of it for later, but it's probably going to be buying a few more, being a bit more aggressive with buying the Bacchus, and I guess just one Siren for now. Hey, there's a free Gungnir Spear.
Hey! Finally, a weapon for Kane. Starman, unfortunately, also stumbling into the Staleman chest. They are fast and they are punchy.
Yeah, but Kane has his new Gungnir Spear to show off, or we can just use the Blizzard Spear since they're weak to ice.
I did not know that.
And Sid has an Ogre Axe. This is going to be good. I mean, it's not going to be good for the front row. Or no, Sid doesn't have the Ogre Axe. Starman does not have the Ogre Axe. Pankraz does, but oh boy, that is a boss.
That is a required to get underground Kainatsu in the Rubicant spot.
Yeah, not technically required. We could have the Twin Harp on the moon and then not need to go underground at all. But that's not fun.
That's true. We could just go to the moon and hunt moon bosses. It would be very tricky and probably not recommended.
I mean, in Pankraz's situation, especially since he does not have a curse ring and doesn't have good anchoring. Well, I think now has good anchoring because he took that Rydia. But Starman could very well head up to the moon and just start taking moon bosses with Fu in hand or in the party. Especially seeing this.
With the power of Fusoya and Kainatsu awaiting you, I might consider it as well.
I mean, considering if you find the Twin Harp up there, you do not need to take this Kainazo. Or even if you find the Magma Key up there, there's multiple outs. I would be very tempted, but we will see. And Starman looks like does not want the Rydia, does not care, and is leaving.
Starman is leaving. Wow. So this may be our first real divergence here. Pankraz is gearing up his edge and looks like getting ready to take on these hook route bosses. Besides the Kainatsu, there are several bosses that are nasty in the spot before it too, in the King Queen Eblin spot. But Starman just turning around and leaving and probably going back to the moon.
Well, we'll see. It's a little too early to say that. Looks like he's stopping by Kaipo to do some shopping. Might be
possibly after the same longswords.
Yeah. And that's a free King Queen Eblin spot. Just some
extremely lost guards who don't know why they're here, and if their commander gets taken out, they would just start punching each other.
I mean, I think in canonically they're under Kainazo's command, so this makes sense. Kainazo just took his force of guards that he usually sends out to chase after Cecil and Crow and brought them here to Eblin or to Upper Babel to defend him, but they did a really bad job.
Yeah, they're not much better here than they are anywhere else, Kanatsu.
And now it's turtle time.
Yeah, these HP based waves are going to be pretty nasty if you can't knock his HP down or get him to get a lit spell out in time to scare him.
I think this storage from Kane will do the trick, but
ooh, looks like he already had one queued up, and Riddy is going down, and so is everyone else.
No, Fu is alive.
Fu is
Edge
fine.
is also alive.
Edge is now berserk with 29 hit points.
This is fine. This is fine.
This is perfectly under control.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything is going according to plan.
And we can only say that because it's xPankraz. Starman is in fact diving into the moon to hunt moon bosses. Looking for, probably going to face check some things here, looking for free fights, looking for fights that they can take with this Fu and this longsword equipped Edge.
There's another wave, but everyone survives again. Pankraz is still in this. It looks like Starman is choosing to do a Warlock grind. Has access to Fu, who can cast Mute in that top slot. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, also has a Mute Bell in his inventory, but Fu seems to be taking care of business here.
Yeah, Fu can do Mute. We don't need.
Where we're going, we don't need bells.
We don't need bells. And yeah, I think Pankraz is gonna get through this Kainazo with just Fu and Edge.
He's just slugging it out. Eventually, these waves aren't going to do enough damage, and Kanatsu will be forced to go hide in the shell.
Yeah.
There we go.
There's hiding inside the shell.
Now, Pankraz just needs to deal enough damage to get Kanatsu down before the remedies that Kanatsu will cast on himself get him back out of it. Edge has his long swords, and it's going kind of burr. That'll help.
Yeah, he's doing about enough damage to counter the remedies. Not quite.
Yeah, he's Kanatsu healing himself for 2,500, Edge swinging for... Ooh, that's a bad swing. Usually around 1,100.
No, 500 is not good. The one problem with this is Kainazo is also buffing up his defense every turn he gets. But Quake does the job.
There's the shake. Turtle go down. Pankraz now has access to the underground.
Just a little over 40 minutes in.
Yeah, 40 minutes into the seed, we have 3 objectives complete on both sides. Full access to the underground and the moon. It started off rough, but this has turned into a pretty jetty seed.
Yeah, we're just looking for a twin harp or both halves of forge at this point.
Yeah, maybe we'll even see the mythical sub-hour run. It would be close at this point, but if anybody could do it, I believe in the racers that are still in the bracket.
I think it's unlikely, just because of the hook route that Pankraz has had to go through. But Starman is through the first of these fights, gets a whole bunch of levels.
Yeah, Starman elected to keep Rosa and is over the Palom and is now powering her up.
Oh no. Fu didn't go first.
No, Kane did, but there we go. Got that mute bell off. Pankraz's first stop underground, heading down to the Fey March. Could be a harp right here in this chest, just sitting here waiting to be taken.
Yeah, we could be in go mode right now, but no, that's a staff. That is a stick.
Just a healer stick.
Yeah, we can get plus 10 will off of that. And we have Vanilla Asura, and Asura has decided to replace her husband with some Baron guards.
Everybody's stocking up on these guards from Baron, and they're never very effective.
Yeah, I don't know why Asura's decided that. Yeah, Baron guards are the best partner.
They will be fairly punchy in the Leviathan spot when they do melee attack, but for the most part, since they're not actually considered bosses, any number of ways to take them out. Stone, weak. If we picked up some coffins somewhere, we can even instantly kill one or two.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to take them out pretty quickly. No, this is not enough boyfriends for each face. There's only 2 of them. And Asura has 3 faces. But it looks like down goes the Rydia. Going to be on anchor duty.
And we turn the guards to stone. Well, that's one way through that fight very quickly.
Yeah, turns out Baron guards not immune to being turned to stone. And the Baron guards are holding the Legend Sword.
There is half a forge right there. We're now half an objective from go mode on Pankraz' side.
Yeah, no, we just need an Adamant or a Twin Harp for Pankraz, either or. So, whereas Starman kind of needs the Twin Harp to be up on both the Twin Harp and the Adamant to be up on this moon.
And then needs to find them in time after grinding out these Warlock fights.
Yeah, well, the Twin Harp really. The Adamant just needs to be buried somewhere where Pankraz won't find it. Pankraz continuing to go chasing the freebies, is now walking through Sylph Cave to go check in on Yang and tell Sheila the news that, hey, your husband's down in the underground.
Interestingly, is not stopped by Dwarf Castle yet. Probably doesn't need the character or the boss hunts at this point, but that's not a terribly difficult pair of fights for another key item.
Yeah, it's not terribly difficult, but it's long, and if the Twin Harp is at Sheila 1, that's a lot of time that you're just putting into a check that doesn't really pay off. Also, just casual Soma drop from the Warlocks. No big deal.
It's awful nice of them. That's the 3rd or 4th one we've seen in this seed, which I'm sure Fu appreciates.
Yeah, Fu is up to 220 MP.
So nobody's stopping to give 10 MP to Kane, huh?
Disappointing.
And no respect for the strange memes anymore.
Goodness. Truly no respect for the memes.
There's Twin Harp at Sheila 1. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Pankraz is in go mode.
Holy cow.
This is really bad for Starman.
Oh yeah, this is very bad. They're gonna have power overwhelming, but that's not key items. That's not, Zeromus access.
Yeah, that's. They're gonna have the levels, but they need to go underground and check the freebies immediately.
Yeah, as expected, Pankraz is heading straight for Cave Magnus.
Yeah, no need to go find the Adamant now. We just need to go do some music, and then Pankraz will have the crystal, have the pass. Might need some levels before heading into Zeromus, but otherwise he's ready to go.
And he knows exactly where the sirens are too if he wants to go pull some more. So there won't be much of anything standing between Pankraz and Zeromus after this.
Yeah, it does look like Starman has finished up the grind at least and is starting to make progress on these moon checks, but we know that you're not going to find your go mode up here, Starman.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know the Legend Sword and the Twin Harp are both back down on Earth or underground, so the only thing he could possibly get out of here is Adamant.
And maybe a Magma Key, but...
Yeah, which makes the moon almost haunted.
Yeah. The real threat is that he could get a whole bunch of rabbit holes.
Yeah, he could pull an Earth Crystal out of here, he could pull Luca, he could pull the Tower Key, and those are all extra key item dives that we know are not going to pay off in any way.
Yep. Meanwhile,
Pankraz getting his team knocked over here and coming up to that part of the seed where we get to be quiet for a little bit.
Yep. We're going to be quiet when... Well, we have some wonderful harp tunes coming up. They're one of the first things that is... One of the first features that's been around since, I think, the first version of this randomizer is our wonderful randomized harp song, and so we are going to be quiet while our spoony bard gives us some wonderful tunes. Well, I think you called it stoppable. That was Antlion in Cave Magnus to the tune of River City Ransom.
Oh, such a jazzy tune. I love that one. And
oh, hey, look, it's a rat tail. Do we turn this in?
No, I think we leave. We find some way to power our characters up, or since 3 of them are at 1200 HP or more, maybe we don't even do that.
But what if it's an Avenger?
It could be an Avenger.
It's such a fast check. It also could be a key item, and we're at 9 key items. And that is a very, very fast check. The hovercraft is already raised.
I suppose the question is, does Pankraz think Starman is right on his tail?
Yeah, Starman did get through the Ribbon Room, found a pan and a package.
And as you were talking about, here's two more rabbit holes, although I really can't see Starman taking the package, but the pan.
We're not going to chase the pan right now because that requires doing the hook route. And no hook route.
Pankraz attempts to sail the airship on the water, heading to Fabul to pick something up. I'm guessing maybe vampires. I think we're looking at low-level strats.
Yeah, I think we might be looking at a Fu and Friends strat for this seed. Cure 3s and Veils, it looks like.
So, what do you know about Fu and Friends strats? I admit this is still fairly new to me.
Basically, the strategy is do as much damage as possible with everyone but Fu, and just keep Fu alive and have Fu reflect some nukes and kind of finish the fight from there.
Fair enough. Fu just kind of babysitting the rest of the team to victory.
Yep. Wow, what a good reward from the White Spear Altar. I just love fighting the Dark Imps on the moon for a Sylph summon.
Quality time. Yep, Pankraz has dropped down his battle speed. He's got his He's picking up ethers here. Well, trying anyway.
Oof, not enough money. But yeah, I think it's time for us to for someone to ask a question. There's a lot of flags coming out of chat. I'm not totally sure what you mean. Do you know what those flags mean?
Is it time for us to take a nap? This is kind of a weird hour for it.
I mean, I'm ready for bed. I'm a little bit tired, but I don't think it's that time yet. I think it might be time for someone to ask a question. Would you happen to know what that question is?
Oh, I think so. Is it something along the lines of whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight? Because we have over 526, 528, somewhere in that region, sprites for Zeromus. Because we can't move Zeromus around because he's too big and bad, but we can change what Zeromus looks like here on the moon.
Indeed. I believe the number is 528. Last time I checked.
That is so many. Shout out to Scalakitty's tireless work putting these sprites in, making them work with the Super NES palette, giving us something to look forward to even at the very end, besides Zeromus's ugly vanilla sprite.
Yeah. But yeah, as our Z fight is getting started, I've just realized we haven't given a shout out yet to our restreamer Nibari for doing amazing work and putting this whole show on, and our tracker Psychonaut, who is doing tracking for the first time.
Yeah, fantastic job pushing the buttons. Welcome to the restream team. And yeah, this is all, and shout out to the runners too. These two runners have put on a real show for us, and they both deserve a follow as well.
Yes, for sure. And there's that crystal toss.
We got a big, and it's the giant.
Nope, it's the giant. It's giant miss. We got it. Have required giant.
Hard required giant. Can't beat the game without it.
That's you thought you could skip the giant of Babel? No, the giant of Babel will come to you. You can't get away from the giant of Babel that easily.
Very impressive looking sprite. I'm guessing this is from one of the PSP versions of the game.
I guess. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, Scalakitty confirming this is from the PSP version.
Yep. Fu and Friends is starting. The way we do this is basically put up veils on everyone, and then Palom is going to toss a virus. Other people are going to toss Thor Rages. We're going to get Zeromus or Giant Mist to reflect a bunch of nukes on himself. Fu is going to toss a slow because we do need to slow Giant Mist down.
Going to nuke poor Rydia for 2,006 points of overkill. Come on, Giant Mist.
Yeah, no, Rydia really needed to die.
Rydia doing her job here. Rydia absorbing 2,030 damage. It didn't need to go to someone else.
Well, no, everyone else has a wall up. That was actually bad. We just lost that damage. That could have been on Giant Mist.
That's true, I guess.
So actually, Rydia getting hit is, expected, but you kind of hope that it's not. And oh, good, a Boreas.
Oh no, Starman, this moon is super haunted. Get out of there.
So good, such good loot. We really need that Boreas. Definitely worth fighting Dr. Luge.
This is, warping out. Starman's probably going to go try the luck at the Crystal Altar too, and that's got to be better than a Boreas at least. We're getting that wonderful Poison Walk too.
We did get a Pan. So, and a package, I guess, which could have a D-Mist.
Yeah, if Starman gets underground by going through that hook route, the Pan will at least point them in the right direction. But
yeah,
it's possibly beyond late at this point.
Yeah, I would say so, with Pankraz already in this Zeromus fight.
Dr. Cossack predicting a Zeus Rage or a Big Bomb at the Crystal Sword altar. Oof, that's just mean.
Also, that is a mean Crystal Sword altar.
Yeah, Dark Knight Cecil is fast and shooting waves for 1,000 hit points each.
Oof. Yeah, that's a pain man. All right. And meanwhile, in Pankraz's fight, it's time for Palom to take a nap.
You know, he's only 5. I can't believe we brought him on this trip to the moon. He's probably very sleepy right now.
Yeah, he's asleep. He's just a kid. He's like probably the same age as Rydia, and Rydia's been taking a nap for a while, so like we should probably let him nap. But
put the kids to bed. Let the grown-ups fight the giant of Babel. It's fine.
Edge has other ideas. Edge says, "No, Palom, you need to not nap now."
I guess you figure if the child participated in overthrowing a legitimate government, then maybe he can come fight a giant robot on the moon too.
Yeah, I guess so. I would say he can probably do that. I mean, he overthrew a government. He can probably participate, and it does look like Starman is through this Dark Knight Cecil now.
Oh, I hope he gets something good for his troubles here. The odds are very low, but
a Magma Key would be amazing for Starman.
Magma Key, he needs Magma Key, and he needs Pankraz to take a wipe right about now.
Yeah.
Just a Dragoon Spear.
I mean, it's a lot better than a Boreas. Kayn can swing that.
Yeah, for certain values of useful, that's pretty good, but Moon Super Haunted. Could still check Cade Bahamut. I guess we still don't even know what boss is over there, but no, Starman's out.
Yeah, Starman says, "No, thank you. I'm done." Meanwhile, the giant is continuing to nuke itself.
Yeah, if Pankraz can get it to nuke itself the rest of the way in the next 30 seconds, we might be looking at that sub 1.
That seems unlikely.
Yeah, Foon Friends is similar to most 1200 HP strats in that it's not exactly fast.
Yeah, the giant is now going to be... we have to switch to crystal nerfing now because... or at least Pankraz has switched to crystal nerfing, I think, to stop... to not trigger the HP refill. And now it's good night time for Palom and Edge. Temporarily. It looks like Pankraz is getting them back up.
Gonna have more targets to bounce those nukes off of.
Yep. Well, more people to trigger nukes. Starman, it looks like, has noped out of the rest of the moon and is now making a play for Baron Basement.
Yeah, knows it's just a Mylon Z down there, especially with the levels that were gained on the moon. This is definitely no issue for him to take, so maybe this will be his Magma Key.
Yeah, Kayn can do double damage with that Dragoon Spear because it hits flying enemies hard, and Mylon Z is flying.
Yeah, it's extremely obvious just from looking at his sprite that Mylon Z is flying.
I mean, duh. How could you not tell? Doesn't that look like a flying creature to you?
You know, it's just that it's CRT blurriness from when I was a kid. I just couldn't tell.
Yeah, of course. That's all it was. I mean, never mind the fact that you have, I don't think, any way to really exploit the flying weakness well when you're going there the first time, or in the vanilla game, unless you really want to have Archer Forum on your team.
I guess that's a decision you could make.
Yeah, with the amazing weapon options you have, like a crossbow and white arrows.
Mylon Z getting toasted on Starman's side. The giant continuing to nuke itself on Pankraz's side.
The giant needs to be microwaved. But it needs to be persuaded to do that microwaving itself.
Just the life staff in the Baron basement.
Yeah, no big womp there. But walking it out, I guess, for the experience.
For the experience, and I guess if you need your Rosetta heal, it's not a terrible thing to have equipped.
Yeah, I guess it's not bad. It's just, eh. It's eh. There's a big bang on Pankraz's side. We don't have all that much HP.
Oh, there's a wipe.
Oh. Oh. Oh no.
Pankraz taking off and flying somewhere.
Might be headed to get money.
Yeah, needs the money to buy the cures to keep the Fu alive, I guess.
Cures or ethers, I would say, to get some more nukes from that Fu.
That's true. Attempted to pick up those ethers in Troy off from the pass lady, and couldn't afford any of them.
Yeah, more nukes on Fu just can shorten that fight a lot. Meanwhile, Starman, it looks like, is gearing up to head through this hook route. With the levels from that moon dive, should be able to tear through this quickly, and hopefully, for his sake, he goes straight for that pan.
I hope so. Although it's amazing how quickly this looked like it was, over and done for in Pankraz's favor, and now Starman's doing his level best to get back to making it a real race again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how Starman handles being in go mode. And I mean,
yeah,
there's still a lot of time for Pankraz to get back into the Z fight and get through it, because Starman has to go through this whole hook route. The pan checks are not very long, but the twin harp check is a while. So Pankraz does still have the lead right now, but that lead did drop quite a bit with that wipe.
Yeah, hopefully Starman will pursue that pan. It's the biggest lead that he's got going underground right now. I'd love to see a pan into a Sheila 1 and 2 check. That'll put him on the route to go mode.
Yeah, that was a lot of life glitches for Pankraz. That's really great, because not only does life glitching duplicate the experience, it duplicates the money.
Yeah, I believe Chad is saying he got 2 on one of the gold dragons, so he effectively killed 4 gold dragons.
Yeah. So that's a lot of experience and a lot of money to buy Ether 2s.
Yeah, with that, Pankraz got his wallet injection and is right back to buy more consumables.
And Starman is finding out just how free the King Queen Evelyn spot was.
Definitely won't have any issues with this, since he is already clearing out the Warlock grind, and then the clear spots on the moon is giving him this power overwhelming.
Yeah, Starman has like actual Zeromus levels.
If Starman gets in go mode, he can just go fight Zeromus normally.
Yeah, Starman will just be fighting Zeromus, not doing Fu and Friends. Starman has a straight up Z fight. With like Dragoon Spear Cane and Double Longsword Edge going at it.
And I believe his Fu is access up to nuke as well. So
yep, his Fu has access to all the spells. But Pankraz is going back in for Fu and Friends. So still very much in the lead. With those Ether 2s, if he can get through this attempt, he's got this pretty solidly. But any wipes at this point are just more time being given back to Starman.
And Starman's not going to require nearly the time to get through this Kanatsu that Pankraz did. Kudos to Pankraz for pushing through it with Fu and Edge, but it'll be much less of an obstacle for Starman. Yeah,
Starman's party doesn't care.
No, they have Berserk, they have Nuke, they're going to be dining on turtle soup.
They have like 2,000 hit points each, and Kainazo's wave starts at like 1,200. So, yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, it's already down to 500. Starman's chewing through this fight.
Yep, already hiding inside the shell.
Well, Pankraz is back in this fight. I did not see everything he stopped to pick up. I saw a purchase of at least one vampire, though.
Yep, and I know he did pick up some Ether 2s as well.
Yeah, that'll keep the nukes flowing from Fusoya and add more damage on this rather than just hoping that Zeromus can nuke himself down before you run out of items.
But the Giant is back at it. Starman is getting a little turned around, but is through the pitfall. An hour and 8 minutes. Technically, that is like 28 minutes behind Pankraz, but that's 28 minutes with a bunch of other checks made on the moon.
Yeah, Starman wasn't just fooling around for 28 minutes. He went and full cleared the moon.
I mean, I think he left a couple spots. I think he left the top of the moon behind.
Yeah, the White Spear, Crystal Sword, yeah.
Just the Murasame altar was left alone, and Cave Bahamut was not checked. But that's going to work out in Starman's favor, I think, because he's going to be able to just check the pan and find the Twin Harp at Shiva 1, and then he'll probably feel real behind. But he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, straight over to Silk Cave, following that pan. Hopefully, then continues it to Sheila instead of continuing over to Fey March and Dwarf Castle.
Yep, making hopefully doesn't make any pit stops along the way. Just going for this pan bonk.
Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully doesn't bother even peeking the Fey March, but at least that free boss won't hold him up for very long if he does decide to take that one.
Yep. And the Sylphs reward the Earth Crystal, so hey, that's a treasury that we could rate if we so desire.
Could go see what's in there. Could get a little more gear for the straight up Zeromus fight.
I don't think we need to. I think we're just ready to go.
Yeah, I think at this point Starman's just going to check his freebies, and we know that's the correct. That's the way to go that will pay off.
Yes, that is the correct play. Just check your freebies. Check your freebies. Do your objectives. Don't bother with any of this other stuff.
So we're gonna fade that treasury.
He hasn't done it yet. He's just checking his freebies still. I mean, we're not. If we're fading the treasury, we're not even going into Troy Castle because no, we're not doing Zod. There's no way.
No, especially once he sees this Twin Harp. There's the first Ether 2 used over on Pankraz's side. That's 2 more nukes out of Fusoya.
The vampires flying.
Yeah, if you're Starman, this has to feel bad, knowing that if you had just gotten through that hook route, that Twin Harp comes from freebies. That's, yeah. Yeah, we're not landing to get the airship. We're going to Cape Magnus. But you have to feel behind if you're Starman, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh, he's stopping to get maybe some more Sirens or Bacchus. Which makes sense. I mean, Bacchus will speed up the Zeromus fight. Sirens, if he's not totally comfortable, which I can see not being totally comfortable with Rose's level. She's a little low on HP.
Yeah, Rose is probably the only one I would feel concerned about, but she's a very important member to keep alive, so.
Yep, time to... Yeah, just buying a few Sirens. And then Nope, Rosa can't exit. Gotta use Foo. And in the meantime, Pankraz is taking on... Oh, Starman has decided he wants to go back and shop again. As Pankraz is still working through this giant misfight.
I'm guessing decided against the Bacchuses and is changing his mind now. You can't buy 10 of them.
Yeah, wants a few Bacchus as well.
That's fair. Get that, since we don't have any good darts online, that's quicker to get Kane and Edge swinging at the giant miss.
Yep. Pankraz, meanwhile, is shipped over to reflected spells and crystal tosses, so looks like it's getting close to the end of this fight. And unfortunately for Starman, they still have to go through this whole Cave Magnus.
Yeah, and it's not a challenging fight, but it's a long cutscene and a long run down too.
Yeah, lots of time to get through this.
If Fusoya continuing to be able to toss out those reflected nukes has been a huge gain for Pankraz on this side.
Yep. And that's the GG. That's the shake. The giant misses down, and Pankraz has won this race with an official time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 43 seconds.
Whew.
That is fast. Yeah, GG's to Pankraz.
It's very good.
We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. Well, we'll see if we can get an interview for an interview, but also music is happening, so
We'll at least get a reprise of that great music, and hopefully we get to talk to Pankraz in a minute and get his thoughts on this seed.
And we are told by it that we are going to be starting our interview after music, so we will be quiet for music, and then we will have an interview for you. And that was our reprise of music done, and it looks like we are joined now by Pankraz. GG's.
Hey, GG's. Thank you very much.
Any initial thoughts about that seed?
We have Onomatopoeia Batman, but Holy Jets Batman is a pretty good descriptor.
Yeah, we were in the booth being like, okay, we have 3 objectives, and we're not underground yet. Oh my goodness. And then Sheila 1 just gave everything. And it was like, oh, well, I guess that's the end of the seed then. Great.
Surprise. I mean, with the starting pass and the darkness crystal from Baron Inn, the world's your oyster. You can do anything. You've got 3 objectives at 28 minutes and 11 seconds on my tracker, and it's just like, what now? Had the option to go hook route, had the option to go moon, and figured I'd just blow through the hook route with Fu, check the freebie, see if I can pull a twin harp or both halves of forge, and lucked into one of those.
Yeah, you got 1/2 of forge in that free Baron guards fight in the free march, and then immediately found the twin harp and just invalidated that whole fight.
It's got a little bit of XP on Palom,
Yeah,
so you could
I guess
big bag.
experience is not bad.
Yeah, getting Palom to where he can contribute more in that Fu and Friends fight at the end is never a bad thing.
Nah, XP's like, with it being as jetty as it was, I knew I needed a certain degree of XP. Getting Kane and Edge to a comfortable 1200 threshold, getting Palom to maybe survive the first Big Bang and help out with more virus damage. Just hope for something along those lines. And then it having half a forge really incentivized me to go back to Sheila 1, and then maybe to go to the moon from there, because now I'm one of 2 items from Go Mode instead of just one item or a pair of items, and it was a interesting situation that quickly got bailed out by the twin harp from Sheila.
Yeah, and
So-
as you see now on your tracker, that adamant was up at the top of Keela's tower, so underground was clearly the way to go. Moon was
Yeah.
haunted.
Yeah,
Completely haunted.
Outside of that Rosa on the altar, there was nothing there for you. There were such prizes as a Boreas at the Mazamune altar.
Oh,
and a
fantastic.
self summon at the White Spear altar.
Couldn't ask for more.
The Dragoon Spear at the
That sounds
Crystal Sword
terrible.
altar is actually not the worst prize ever.
Oh no, not at all
Yeah.
with a cane.
Yeah, no, that was the one good prize. Then there was like a pan to send you towards Sheila 1 and a package, because we want the package character, right? Clearly the package is
Definitely.
worth sitting through.
I mean, if it's Cecil, then maybe we can go and get that adamant from the top of the tower faster. But no, that's rough to hear. Hopefully the bosses weren't too terrible up there. I didn't check any of them, but
Other than Pain Man at Crystal Sword, they were mostly fine.
all right, well,
Yeah, nothing too awful.
all right, that's good at least. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun when there's a lot of divergence between the runners. I'm sure from
Yeah.
commentator standpoint, viewer standpoint, and a bit from a runner standpoint. But they're doing it for the moon, finding like terrible bosses. I've been in those shoes, and it is not fun.
Yeah, I was totally rooting for both of you when Starman saw the Kanatsu on the hook route, and after turning down Rydia, just decided to turn down the whole hook route and went straight up to the moon.
I don't blame him necessarily. I mean, with Fusoya, it enables a lot up there. I was on the verge of doing the same, but again, with just the one item, a Twin Harp could be anywhere. There's so many checks underground. Fu is going to make them so quick once he gets nuke. If only he learned it before the Keinatsu fight. It'll just be... I figured I'd just go and blow up all of those and hope for the best.
Yeah, and that ended up being the correct move this play, but or this race. But the randomizer could have placed the items differently. And it could have gone completely the other way.
Yeah, definitely. Starman, fantastic opponent, and looking forward to racing him in the future, even if our series ends with this one.
Yeah, the series has ended. You have moved on to the semifinals of this tournament. How are you feeling?
Excited. Looking forward to play either of the two runners. Both fantastic. Penguinator, we get a little bit of a rematch from 3 Miss Zone quarterfinals, and Dia, we get a rematch of first week of Swiss and of the GDQ Expo. So, plus it's the 3rd place match from 3 Miss Zone if Dia does move on, and that's always fun too. Either way, it's going to be a very exciting series, and I'm looking forward to either opponent, and I'm looking forward to see their game or their next match tomorrow night.
For sure. It's going to be a hype one. Anything else you want to add, Stoppable, before we let FF4FE go?
Nope, I think we can let you get out of here. GG's again, Pankraz.
Of course, thank you, GG's, and thank you, Xenocat and Stoppable Force, for the commentary. I look forward to watching it back and hearing all that you have to say. Thank you, Neobari, for the seed, and thank you, Psychonaut, for the tracking. Looking forward to seeing all of the efforts that you put into making this show happen on the VOD. Till then, though, I'll see you around. You all have a fantastic rest of the evening, and GG's again to Starman. Great race, great series. Looking forward to see him further in the future.
GG's again. And while we were interviewing Pankraz, Starman has finished up his grind, just got a few more levels on Rosa to get her up to 2200 HP, and is now beating up the Giant.
His fight considerably more comfortable in terms of level of health and power on these characters, just going for a more straightforward fight with Kain and Edge swinging away, and Fu and even Rosa reflecting some offensive spells at the Giant.
Yeah, we're just beating up the Giant real hard. The Giant, we're just gonna have a fun little romp with a Dragoon Lance, a double longsword, some nukes, some whites, all good stuff.
Yeah, I'd say this will be, in the end, a quicker and safer version of the fight we saw on Pankraz's side, although unfortunately not earlier.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer to get to this point. I mean, it does take a while to get all those levels. And although the fight itself is faster, it just took a little bit of extra time because of doing all those extra checks.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just what sometimes these reward the person who can get there with the faster, riskier strat.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it is just sometimes there's value on the moon, and sometimes the moon is the play, and sometimes there's no value on the moon, and the moon is not the play, and it all depends.
As anybody who's seen me in the comments of some of these matches knows, I am hashtag Team Never Moon, and so I definitely would have fought that hooker out no matter what.
I mean, I definitely am partial to the K main bias, which is a real thing in the randomizer. K main locations are more likely individually to have key items than K summon or K moon locations.
Yep, the randomizer is biased just a little bit towards those spots where you would get a key item anyway. Obviously, it can still put them anywhere, as we saw from the Legend Sword and the Leviathan spot, the Earth Crystal and the Sylph Cave. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in the bias towards K main spots.
Yep. I mean, I've been Team Never Moon sometimes. I've been Team Sometimes Moon. I'm usually not someone to go for an early moon dive, but kudos to Starman for pulling it off and making it work. Just unfortunately, the value was not there today.
Yeah, Starman, I mean, everybody who makes it into the top levels of these tournaments is extremely skilled, and Starman just displaying his skill in a different way than Pankraz by taking that moon at an earlier level than other people might be comfortable or safe with running, and combing the moon for value even though it wasn't there.
Yeah, no, it was really well run, all things considered, by Starman. Just unfortunately made a sound decision that could have been the right decision for the seed, but it just wasn't the right decision in this particular case. Oh, there's a black hole. That means no more Berserk and no more Wall.
Yeah, they'll have one more melee attack from each of these Berserkers from what they already had queued up, and then I'll have to reapply his beneficial spells like Star Veils and Berserks to keep the fight going.
But with those extra hits did tip over into Meteor Phase, so we have rocks.
Yep, we are coming down to the very end of it here.
This fight is almost over.
There it is.
That's the flash. GG's to Starman, finishing in second place with an official time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 1 second. Really a very solid time considering that moon dive early.
Yeah, that is an extremely solid time for these brackets, for these bracket flag seeds. It's I mean, look at the party he was able to assemble and how much ground he was able to cover in that time, and it's still amazing. It was the right decisions, just not for this seed necessarily.
Yeah, it was definitely a valid decision. And Starman has declined the interview, so will not be joining us here in the booth. But what a phenomenal race, Stoppable.
Yeah, I mean, you anticipate with runners of this caliber that you're going to get a good race every time, and this one showed me new stuff. I love continuing to learn from these high level runners and the skills they put on display.
Yeah, there was some really heads up plays from both runners, and goodness, that was I mean, when you're up against Pankraz, as someone who did race against Pankraz in the Swiss stage of this tournament, you feel behind and you have got to make the big plays sometimes, and that might have been what motivated Starman to go to the moon. We will not know. But it was definitely a very heads-up play by Starman to head up to that moon. It just, unfortunately, there was no value up there, not even a magma key.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So this will be Starman's exit from the race, but had a fantastic run getting here. And looking forward to seeing more out of Starman in the future. Pankraz moves on to the round of 4 to face the winner of the third game of Dia versus Penguinator, which I believe is scheduled for tomorrow.
Indeed. And I want to give one more shout out to Nyabari for doing the restreams, Psychonaut for his first time tracking, did a phenomenal job. Shout outs to you, Stoppable Force, for making this a fun commentary time in the booth.
Thank you. It's been fantastic to be on here with you, Xenocat. And
we will be sending you over early to Free Enterprise for their race that starts at 9 p.m., I believe between Dusty and Phineas, if I'm correct.
That sounds correct to me.
Another one of these hype matchups in this round of 8. So we will be sending y'all on over there. As a reminder, do not spoil the results of this race. We will bonk you. You do not want to get the bonk. It's not fun. And enjoy the music times that we will have, that you'll get before, as we wait for Dusty and Phineas to get underway.
All right, everybody, have a good evening.